Last year, I remember lying in bed at around 2 a.m., scrolling through my phone in the dark. One of my friends had just posted a photo of their first day at university. Another was celebrating new achievement, and someone else was already talking about internships, future plans, career goals. And there I was, staring at my screen and quietly asking myself, why does it feel like everyone knows where they're going except me? At that time, I had just failed my UTBK exam. Not my second choice, not my backup plan, my real dream. And honestly, that failure affected me more than I expected. I remember talking to my mother and telling her that I was okay, but the moment she hugged me, I started crying. I felt ashamed. Even though I did not know exactly to whom, I felt like a failure when I had already tried my best. And more than anything, I was afraid of tomorrow. Because this was never only about university. It was about the feeling of being left behind. While everyone around me seemed to keep moving forward, I felt stuck in the same place, standing still, where nobody seemed to notice. And the more I compared myself to other people, the more I started doubting my own worth. And honestly, that was one of the cruelest things I had ever done to myself. And later I found out so many of us do the same. Because according to the Indonesia National Adolescent Mental Health Survey, around 1 in 3 Indonesian teenagers experience mental health problems, and anxiety is one of the most common. A study published in 2024 also found that social comparison has a strong connection with social anxiety among teenagers. And honestly, it makes so much sense because we live in a generation where everyone's achievements are always visible. Every day, every single day, we see people getting accepted into their dream university, building businesses, or becoming successful at the very young age. It's not their fault, but without realizing it, we slowly begin to treat our life, like a competition instead of a journey. But knowing I was not alone didn't fix everything overnight. Okay, 2 months after UTBK, I remember one quiet morning, I was sitting at my desk, holding a warm cup of jasmine tea, and for the first time in a long, long time, I just breathe. No comparison, no deadlines. Just that moment. And something in me slowly began to settle. Later that same day, I started peeling off the sticky notes from my desk, the schedules, the targets, the reminders from months of preparation. Removing them was not easy. I felt sad because I knew I was pausing a dream I had worked so hard for. But underneath that sadness, there was also relief and quiet knowing that something bigger, something better was waiting for me, and I just had to trust that. And that was the moment I realized accepting yourself does not always arrive as a big revelation. Sometimes it comes as a cup of tea. Sometimes it comes as a quiet morning where you finally stop fighting yourself. And slowly, I began to ask different questions. I stopped asking, what looks impressive? And I started asking, what truly matters to me? The answer did not come instantly, of course, but slowly, honestly, they came. And when I finally entered university in 2025, I felt something I did not expect. That I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Not because it was perfect, but because it finally felt like mine. Like a door I never even knew I was walking toward had finally opened. And suddenly all that waiting made sense. So, if any of you watching this and feel pressured because you don't have everything figured out, I want you to know that you are not alone. You never were. Your journey does not become less meaningful just because it looks different from someone else's. And I know how hard it is to believe that when you are lying in bed at 2 a.m., wondering why everyone else seems to figure it all out. I have been there. But I also know now from the other side of that night, the confusion, the waiting, the not yet, it was never wasted. Because what is truly meant for you will never miss you. Not because everything will go according to plan, but because when you stop punishing yourself, when you finally let yourself rest, go outside, breathe, and speak to yourself with kindness, you create space to actually grow. And if there's one thing I hope stays with you after this, it's that forgiving yourself is not something that just happens to you. You have to choose it. Like holding, sharp blade in the palm of your hand. You do not want to bleed, so you have to open your hand and let it go. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because holding on hurts more. So maybe you do not need to have everything figured out today. Your not yet is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of finally meeting yourself. Thank you.